30 ships left Sweden. Only one came back. Here's why.
Oh my god.
When I saw this title, I was like, oh my god, what is this about? But it's fascinating. Look at this. Discover the catastrophic true story of the Ingvar expedition, the lost Viking army that vanished attempting to raid the Middle East in 1036, so almost 1,000 years ago, a bit less. Unlike the famous raid on England, this campaign into Scotland ended in slaughter by the Greek fire and disease, marking the brutal end of the Swedish Viking Age. So I think the Viking Age started in the 700s, so it lasted only 300 years. I thought it was longer than this.
Yeah.
And I thought it was like more than 1,000 years ago.
True.
But it's actually not that far away in the past.
I thought they were the one before the history or something.
Yeah, before Jesus or something?
Yeah.
We're so bad in history. You're supposed to be good. So Alexander the Great is before that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought it was like, I don't know, closer to Alexander the Great. Anyway, let's react. It looked fascinating, yes.
Let's get started.
Okay.
Deep in the Swedish forest, there are 26 stones that shouldn't exist. They aren't grave markers. They're crime scenes. Most rune stones brag about raids in England. They talk about gold and glory. These stones are different. They speak of a place called Serkland, the land of the Saracens, the Middle East. In 1036, a fleet of 3,000 Swedish elite warriors went east and vanished. They went hunting for Arab silver and sailed right off the edge of the map. We know the Vikings conquered England, but have you heard of the army that tried to conquer the Middle East and found a hell they weren't ready for? This is the Ingvar expedition, the disaster that wiped out a generation and left nothing but stones in the snow. 1036 AD, the Viking Age is ending. In the West, kings are turning Christian. The easy raids are gone. But in Sweden, the old gods are still hungry. Meet Ingvar. They call him the far-traveled. In reality, he was Ingvar the Broke. Royal blood, cousin to kings, but no land and no throne. In the Viking world, a prince without silver is a nobody. Ingvar didn't want scraps from England. He wanted the main...
Oh, is that why? And nothing, because when we reacted to the other video the other day, right? He said that Sweden, they wanted to stay peaceful during the Viking Age. While Norwegian, they were like the little brother.
Yeah.
And the Danes, Denmark, were the one going after every piece of land. So maybe Sweden, they pick up late. Like, he tried late to join the party, and then they were too late or something.
I
don't know.
He knew the stories. Swedish Rus traders had been drifting down Russian rivers for decades. They brought back dirhams, high-grade Arab silver. Ingvar saw the map. He saw the Silk Road. He decided to cut out the middleman. He sent out the call. He wanted killers. The response was massive. 3,000 men, 30 warships, the housecarls, the sons of chieftains, the best armed men in the north. They loaded the ships with axes, shields, and empty chests. They rowed out into the Baltic thinking about silver. They had no idea they were sailing into a slaughterhouse.
Oh, no.
History books say they traveled the Russian rivers.
How much is 3,000? Because back then, right? Let me check. How many people Sweden in the 1050 AD? Oh, 400,000 people, including Sweden. Oh, 1.5 to 2 million total for all the Scandinavian country. And 400,000 for Sweden. So 3,000 of 400,000, it's a lot.
Yeah.
That went like this, yeah.
A lie.
And
They suffered.
all die.
To reach
Yeah, and I think it's total, right? I don't. Is it 400,000 at the same time or like the longevity? So it's never 400,000 like living at the same time.
the east, Ingvar's army fought physics. They hit the Volga river system. At first, the current helped. They coasted past Kiev. Then, the rivers turned against them. The water dropped. Rapids appeared. The ships grounded. This is the portage. 3,000 men jumped into the mud.
Whoa.
They cut down forests to make log rollers. They tied ropes around their waists and dragged 30-ton oak warships over the earth. Miles of dragging, through swamps, through clouds of mosquitoes that turned the air black. Men broke legs. Men died of exhaustion. If you fell, the ship didn't stop. Ingvar drove them like cattle. He told them the pain was the price of the silver. Finally, the river opened up. The smell changed. Pine sap was replaced by salt and sand. They hit the Caspian Sea. They were further east than almost any Viking army in history. They were hardened.
This reminds me of during World War II, other Germans were caught by surprise by the cold in Russia. They were not able to survive the very hot, cold Russian winter, so they lost a lot of ground when they tried to go to Russia. It reminds me of that a little bit. Like they are not even made it to the destination yet, and they lose people on the way.
Yeah,
and
that's not good.
And there's gonna be more disease coming also, because when the population is stuck in the same area for a long, long time and to go to a new place, then the disease is very easy, right?
Yeah.
That's why there's Sentinel Island and there's other very, very recluded island that we don't even go. And they tell people don't go. Because if you go, just you being there, everyone on the island is going to pass away from the disease that you bring to them. So.
Were exhausted, and they were walking into a trap. They landed in the Caucasus, modern-day Georgia. It felt like a different planet.
Georgia.
The heat was suffocating. The sun was blinding. These men were wearing wool, padding, and heavy chainmail. They were built for ice, not ovens. They rowed up the Rioni River looking for a city to sack. Instead, they found a war. The kingdom of Georgia was burning. King Bagrat was fighting for his life against a rebel warlord named Liparit. Bagrat saw the fleet. He saw 3,000 giants with axes. He didn't fight them. He hired them. The deal was struck. Kill my enemies, take their silver. It looked easy. The Vikings were used to terrifying French peasants. They looked at the Georgian rebels and saw soft targets. They thought their reputation would win the fight.
Oh no,
They were
the
wrong.
Georgian.
The Georgians had been fighting empires for centuries. They weren't peasants. They were professionals. 1042. The Battle of Sasereti. Ingvar's Vikings took the center. They formed the Skjaldborg, the shield wall, a fortress of wood and iron. They banged their axes. They chanted. They waited for the collision. The enemy refused to play. The rebel commander, Liparit, saw the heavy infantry. He saw they were slow. He saw they were cooking in their armor. He sent in the cavalry. But they didn't charge. They stopped 50 yards out and unleashed hell. Thousands of arrows hammered the Viking line. Some punched through mail. Others found gaps. The Vikings screamed, daring them to fight close. The horsemen just laughed, reloaded, and...
This is like when the European went to like Australia or went to North America and they had much more technology than the people living there. But now it's the Swedes that are like out technology. They fight like barbarian and they're met with people that have like more I don't know, not intelligence, but like more idea to like not lose any of their people.
More structure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
More structure. Well, them, they are used in a certain way. And it's just like when the European invade North America and North Americans or Africa, and Africa didn't have anything. They are like African right now versus the Middle East in a way. They are very like...
and fired again. It was death by inches. The Vikings were trapped. The heat stroke set in. Men were passing out behind their shields. The wall was crumbling. Then came the fire. The chronicles say the enemy used burning oil, Greek fire. Pots of liquid fire smashed into the tight formation. Panic broke the line. You can't hold a shield wall when you're burning alive. The formation shattered. The Georgian heavy cavalry lowered their lances and charged. They hit the disorganized Vikings like a hammer hitting glass. The elite of Sweden were trampled into the sand. Ingvar rallied the survivors. They hacked their way out. They retreated to the ships beaten and unpaid. They thought they had survived. They were wrong. The South had one weapon left. In the filthy river camps, sickness hit. The sagas call it a plague. We call it dysentery. It moves fast. Cramps, fever, liquid death. These men could take an axe to the face and keep fighting, but they couldn't fight this. Within days, the camp was a graveyard. Warriors died in their own filth, too weak to hold a sword. There was no Valhalla here, just flies and the smell of rot. Ingvar the prince, the man who promised them the world, died vomiting in the dirt. He was 25, 30 ships left. Legend says one came back. Imagine that single ship limping into the Swedish harbor. Tattered sails, bleached wood, a crew of ghosts. They didn't bring silver. They brought silence. The grief broke the nation. An entire generation of men gone. The families did the only thing left. They raised stones. The Gripsholm stone stands there today.
Oh, the stones are still there. We need to react to a video when we see these stones.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
The runes are painted blood red.
But she said at the beginning there's 26 stone, but there's 30 ship.
Yeah.
29 that vanish. So they should have 29 stone. Unless I don't understand like what he mean by the stone.
Text is brutal. They traveled manfully far for gold, and in the east gave food to the eagle. They died in the south in Sörkland. Sörkland, the land of death. That stone ended the Swedish Viking age. The dream of an Eastern empire died with Ingvar. Ingvar proved the Vikings weren't invincible, they were men. They got greedy, they gambled, and they lost.
Oh,
But there was a group of Vikings who did master the East. They didn't try to conquer the emperors. They protected them. If you want to see the Vikings who actually got the gold and the glory,
is it called All Viking Become Byzantine Bodyguard?
watch this video on the Varangian God.
Oh, this is interesting.
It's the
Oh, yeah. No, we need to watch the transition.
Yeah.
No, but it's an interesting video, but to be fair, they are going. It's not like they are cocky or greedy, maybe, but I mean, they cannot know what they're gonna face. They don't even know that part of the world. It's like they have no clue what's gonna be there. You know.
But first, who told them that there's a gold or silver there?
Oh, I don't know. I thought maybe it's like because they usually go more north to Russia, right? In easy target. Now they went much more south, like Georgia. Maybe they have scout. I don't know. Actually, it's a good question. I don't think they said at the beginning how they know, but they probably have inched. Some people went too far and they know that there's land there. So if there's land, there's things, you know. But they probably thought that they were like the strongest people on the planet, you know, because they don't know anything else, you know. They are used to winning around where they are.
True.
So, yeah. And maybe when they went to Russia more north, maybe they talked to people. I don't know. People talk. And maybe they knew there was other life elsewhere, you know. And they arrived at the middle of another war.
Actually, there's a trading. Like people go.
Yeah, the Silk Road.
Yeah.
That's what they mentioned at the
okay,
beginning.
okay.
Yeah, it's come down to strategy. We've seen a lot of video where the army that are because they were 3,000, but the other were only 1,000 something. So we've seen a lot of video where the least amount of people win. It's not the first video.
Yeah.
And in this one, it felt like the other side lost nobody. Like they could not even make it to them.
True.
You know. So interesting video. It's good how he narrate the story, right? It make it it's for children like us. It make it easy to follow. So yeah, please suggest us more video. It's really interesting. Yes.